says I'm live.
Oh, now you have a live tab.
Now I have a live tab.
Yeah. Yeah, you are live.
All right. So why don't you try sending me something in the chat, see if it shows up on my screen. Yeah, it came up and I just sent you a response.
Looks good.
All right. Now, the only thing I don't know with their system, I don't think I can invite people and put them on the screen.
No, you have to. I don't think you can either. I think you have to.
You probably have.
Only if I think you can only do that if they have a channel too, and then you guys merge channels. But
yeah, or I'd have to have an encoder, right?
Yeah, either that or Cooley joined.
Hi, Cooley. This is a test run. I'm just seeing, trying to set up my YouTube channel to potentially do a live stream on Saturday, in lieu of Chuck not being able to do one. So, seeing if it works, and I guess you guys found me, which is kind of funny.
Oh, Gustavo's here too.
Yeah, hi, Gustavo. This is the acid test. I don't know how this looks at your end, if it looks okay or not. I have not ever done this before, so this is a first for me. Yeah, Chuck Cooley. Chuck just took ill. He got ill, and he's recovering at the moment. I don't know when he's going to be back on doing a stream again. So I'm contemplating trying to do something on Saturday, and possibly through his Restream service. But I don't know if that's going to be possible or not. I'm waiting for information. If I don't get it, I'm going to probably try doing something on this YouTube channel. And, and I'll see if it works. I mean, if I don't get the information to try to use his Restream service, then what I'll do is I'll put out an announcement on my channel, just like a 1-minute video, and anybody that goes to my channel, I'll just say, hey, I'm going to do a live stream Saturday at 9:00 in the same time slot that Chuck would have done it, and hopefully the word gets out and people can join in. So we'll just see.
Look at this, Jeff. You got 7 people in here who just started 2 minutes ago.
Oh man, watch out, man! I'm getting famous. This is kind of really weird. Definitely strange. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, and everything seems to be working. Unfortunately, I don't have a fancy setup like Chuck with encoders and ways to switch to different video feeds and different audio feeds and putting up phone numbers and all that fancy stuff that Chuck has. So it would be bare bones basic, basically, seeing what everyone puts in the chat and try to, generate some conversation and give people a place to go on Saturday night, because, hey, we don't have lives, right? So we're always around on a Saturday night. We have nothing better to do. So yeah, if everybody,
sometimes we have better things to do. We just choose to be on those lives.
Just choose to be on. So yeah, if everybody's getting this feed okay, and you're hearing me okay, and everything is clear, then at least I feel confident that, that if I cannot get access into the Restream account, then we will do something on Saturday on my channel, and it won't be as fancy, but hopefully we'll get the same crowd, or at least some of the same crowd, and be able to have just some photo discussion. And Chuck's recovering from an illness, and I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, due to the privacy for his family and whatnot, I'm not going to get into any details. But he is recovering. But I have no idea what the time frame is going to be before he is going to feel up to doing his stream, and so we're gonna make an attempt to offer something on Saturday night anyway, and we'll see how it goes. And if it goes okay, then can look at me as the I guess the substitute teacher for a short term. Would just be Saturdays. I would not try to attempt to do it on a Wednesday. I just don't have that kind of time available to do 2 streams a week. And I'm not sure how well it's going to go doing one stream, to be honest with you. Well, we will find out. At least you guys, a few of you guys have found me, even just testing out this feature on YouTube. So that makes me feel good that it works. Hello, Mr. Timothy Brown and Gustavo, of course, and Long Rider. Good seeing you. Cooley as well. It's nice to see a few folks somehow found me. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July, and it's continuing to have a great 4th of July. I know there's supposed to be a lot of planned fireworks down here in Myrtle Beach at some of the well-known, let's say, touristy spots. But we've had a little bit of some thunderstorms that look like they might be coming this way. So I don't know if that's going to wreck it or not. But we had rain yesterday. It was bad. I mean, the thunder was extremely loud. My dog was scared to death. Lightning everywhere. I happen to live, unfortunately, in a pocket, apparently in Myrtle Beach, that is very high probability of lightning strikes, and we actually had some units. I live in an area where you have single family homes, you have duplexes, you have connected, like, I guess they're condominiums. I guess you'd consider them condos. I don't know if they're 5 or 6 units wide, and one of them got hit with a lightning bolt last year, and it torched them all. And it took a long time for those properties to get rebuilt. And I think some of the people hung out and moved back in, and some people just took the insurance money and left, went somewhere else. I don't know if they're still in Myrtle Beach or ran out of town. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, like I said, if I end up doing this stream from my channel, I'm gonna, give the information to Tim or myself. We'll give the information to Chuck's wife, and then hopefully Chuck could log on and watch it, and everybody can give him well wishes and give him wishes for a speedy recovery and cheer him up a little bit. And that would be a great thing, because I'm sure everybody's concerned about him. Everybody wants to say hi to him, and hopefully, he could join the chat for a little bit and sit back and listen to us guys talk. And we'll try not to put him to sleep. But hello.
And I'll try to post updates to the Facebook group, the AP Studios Facebook group, as they come available. But like you, I don't want to pester the family, so I'm not going to be bothering them with calls for updates. I'm just going to let them reach out when they want to.
Yeah.
And there may not be a lot of updates, but you know, when I do hear some news or Jeff hears some news, we'll post it, and maybe stay tuned to Jeff's YouTube channel for details on that upcoming stream.
The only thing, Gustavo,
none of us have access to Chuck's account, so we can't post anything on AP Studios, just in the Facebook group, which, you know, only has a limited number of viewers. So if you want to pass the message along that there will be a stream this Saturday, to be determined, time and place and that kind of stuff, that would be helpful.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it at 9:00. And for now, unless for some reason I get access to his account, if I had to make a decision right this second, it would be through my channel, and I would just go live at 9:00. And I don't have the capabilities that I know of. Here I am putzing around with something I've never putzed around with before. I don't have the capabilities to like have guests come on where you're going to see them on my screen or anything like that, because I just don't have that level. I don't have that level of equipment. I mean, I'm using my video cam from my Mac Studio. I'm using an external microphone. I'm basically using what I use when I'm joining Chuck's stream. And if you don't have encoders and you don't have all this fancy equipment, that, you know, different levels of expense, but Chuck has some pretty good stuff. It's going to kind of end up being just like this. And, you know, we'll obviously hope that Chuck's able to watch, and everybody can wish him well and hope he gets better soon and comes back soon, because I told him, I says, you know, it's not that I don't like ranting by myself, and I don't rant anywhere near as good as Chuck does anyway. So it's like, you know, you got to have the original guy. I mean, I am nowhere near a substitute for our friend Chuck at all. But we will take a stab at it on Saturday. We'll see how it goes. And what I'll do is, if I don't hear anything by Thursday, in terms of possibility being able to use his feed, then I will put out something from my channel. I'll just do like a 1-minute video, and I'll just say, going live Saturday night, 9:00. Check us out. Send your well wishes to Chuck, so on and so forth. And we'll just see who shows up. And that's what we'll do. And let's see, I'm just going to look at the comments here.
Also, while you're looking at comments, there's, we have some time between now and Saturday. So, I'm willing, and I'm sure others are as well. If you want to audition StreamYard, they have free versions as well as paid versions. If you want to do any auditioning of that stuff, so you can add other people to the panel, so you don't feel, overwhelmed in hosting this. And you can have some other people. I forget what the limitations are, but yeah, I think you can get at least like 5 or 6 people on the screen. If you want to audition any of that software, I'm up to helping with that. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm game to try anything, I mean, I'm a foolish old man. I'll try anything once. Well, there's some things that I've tried more than once that I probably shouldn't have in my life, but we're not.
Shouldn't say that out loud on a live stream.
But we're not going to go there. But yeah, I could try. I mean, do they have does Restream have a trial period?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think both StreamYard and Restream do.
Okay.
Or at least free versions where they're gonna, you can't get rid of the logo on the screen and you don't have all the functionality, but you can add other people.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I'll look into Restream tomorrow. I mean, I got some stuff going on in the morning, early afternoon, but I'll go on tomorrow night on Restream, and I'll see what I can find, and if I can get that activated, and I'll do a test run with you, Tim, if you're around.
Yeah, I'll be around.
And we'll see if it's working, and I could try putting you in as a guest and see if you show up, and we can make sure all that's working. And then if it is, then I'll direct people to, I'll send out a notification on my YouTube channel that there's going to be a stream, but it's going to be through Restream instead. So we got a few days to figure all this out, guys. So be patient with us, and we're gonna do the best we can, and hopefully get a decent crowd, and everybody can say hi to Chuck, and I'll once everything's set as to where it's going to go, I will send some information to his spouse, and then it's up to her whether, if he feels up to watching the show, he could watch the show. So I'll just let her know what's going on. And so since we got a handful of people in here, and let me see if, okay, I'm just looking at the screen and trying to see what kind of information it gives to me. It looks like we got 10 people in here. I've been blabbing already for 16 minutes. So, okay, that's not a new record by any means.
Who's shooting fireworks tonight?
They've got fireworks at Barefoot Landing area. They've got one at I think sometimes they have one at the baseball stadium for the Pelicans. There's like I think Merle's Inlet, Marshwalk has it, and at least one other place. So there's a lot of locations. I think they're not starting until like 10 o'clock. So, and then I have the neighborhood. I'll say the neighborhood, the individual who's been shooting them off like the last 3 or 4 nights, scaring the what out of my dog. So I was hoping that people would be a little bit more polite and just reserve the fact that legally you're only allowed to shoot them off down here on the 4th of July and on New Year's Eve. But obviously rules were made to be broken, right? That's the way things are nowadays. So my dog doesn't appreciate it. And when my dog is upset and wound up, then that gets me upset and wound up. So, anyway, we'll have some conversation, and as usual, we'll talk a little bit about what we think Nikon's next move is going to be, and that's all just based on conjecture, but see what their options are, and why the Z6 III and the Z7 III do not appear to be on the roadmap for this year. I have my own reasoning why that may be the case, and I'll go over that on Saturday. And yeah, I might actually have to buy a small bag of M&Ms as a nod to Chuck on Saturday. I mean, I love peanut M&Ms as well, but I've been trying to be, not succeeding well, trying to be a little healthier and nibbling on pretzels. I've been doing the pretzel thing for a while. I didn't eat.
They have pretzel M&Ms. I don't know if they're still available or how hard they are to find, but they do make them.
That's I don't need the problem is I'm pre-diabetic, and I have to try to stay away from sugar, but I dip into the chocolate bowl that I have once in a while, and I should not ever do that. I should not have chocolate at all. And
you can just pretend you're eating them and throw them down to the dog. Of course, dogs can't eat chocolate either. So
well, yeah, I do that, and then I'll be saying, "Wait a minute, guys, my dog just died. I'll be back in a minute."
Yeah, just stick to pretzels.
She just lifted her head up. She didn't like that. She's underneath the desk right now in her normal spot, and of course she's used to as soon as I could literally be on the computer 2 or 3 hours, say editing photos or whatever, before Chuck's show ever starts, and as soon As soon as the show starts, she crawls out from underneath the desk. She gets the ball. She wants to play. She wants me to throw it. So when you guys see my arm doing this, or I'm trying to be, do it so you don't see me moving my arm. I mean, that's just like 2 hours of literally could be 2 hours of throwing the ball to the dog at the same time trying to do the live stream with Chuck. So that's always fun to do.
It's good that you cleared that up because people may have thought that you were doing that to your wife.
What, throwing her the ball?
No, telling her to keep away.
My wife.
Because you can't see your whole arm. You can't see the ball in your arm. You just see you gesturing.
My wife doesn't fetch for me, believe me. Oh man. Yeah, unfortunately, unlike Chuck, I'm not a coffee drinker. I do drink Coke Zero, and I read something somewhere, and as they say, be cautious about what you read on the internet, right? No matter what it is. But I mean, supposedly, I don't know if it's in Europe or whatever, they're trying to say the sugar substitute that's in the sodas are a carcinogen, and they're looking to possibly ban any product that has that in it. And that's the rumor I heard, when I was scanning the globe, as they say on the internet. And I mean, I sure as heck hope it's not a carcinogen. I mean, I probably only drink maybe 2 cans of Coke Zero a day, sometimes only 1. So it's not like I'm drinking it like crazy. But in my younger years, I drank regular Coke, like an insane amount, because I don't drink coffee. I used to go to work 7:00 in the morning, show up at 7:00 in the morning, and drink a Coca-Cola at my desk at 7:00 in the morning. And I probably had 5 or 6 Coca-Colas a day in my working days. And that was not very smart, obviously.
Well, hey, the deck's already stacked against us. We grew up with asbestos and lead paint and, Teflon pans, and we're already doomed.
Oh, yeah. And then, working in the electronics industry most of my life, I can't tell you the amount of chemicals that I dipped my hands into that 20 years later, that could cause cancer. Well, yeah, 10 years after I had my arms in this stuff for, say, cleaning PC boards or whatever, freons and different mostly freons to clean the fluxes off PC boards. Then all of a sudden, now we got vent hoods, and you're going to wear rubber gloves, and you're going to wear a mask, and you're going to wear this, and we're going to wear that. Well, if there was going to be any damage, it's already happened to me, because I already had my arm, up to my armpits and that stuff. So God knows all the chemicals I've sucked into my skin over the years. I'm still here. I'm surprised. Very surprised. But I mean, I worked in a business where I worked with high pressure oxygen, anhydrous ammonia, hydrazine, some really, really, really nasty stuff. So I'm glad I'm not involved in that stuff anymore. But if there was any damage to be done, it's either waiting to show up. Who knows? I think we've all ended up doing things in our jobs sometimes that 20 years later somebody says, "Oh, that wasn't good to be doing that. That wasn't good for you." We had a asbestos break. We had a plant where I grew up. We had a plant that made asbestos brake pads, and I don't remember what year they went out of business. I mean, eventually they closed because asbestos became a no-no, so they went out of business. That factory probably sat there, abandoned, and it wasn't very big, but it sat there probably abandoned for 20, 30 years before they did a hazardous cleanup, and they knocked it down. And then they stripped all the soil, so many feet down, stripped out the soil, put in clean soil, used it for something else. But a lot of these businesses that had hazardous materials would just abandon the plant and not do anything to mitigate any environmental damage. And they were just like, okay, we're bankrupt, we're gone. Cities got to deal with it, and it would just sit there forever before the cities came up with the money to somehow take control of the property and knock the building down and remove all this material. But how many people got sick or got cancer from working in that brake pad manufacturing plant? But anyway, those that are on here, spread the word, keep their eyes peeled on my channel, because I will make an announcement on my channel no later than Friday, hopefully Thursday night, for sure, and think of some topics of discussion. And in the meantime, I will try some of the other formats that allow me to invite guests on. And I know Tim's already offered, and he's obviously a great person, and walk me through it and help me through it if I have a problem, and hopefully can make a stream work that's not doesn't have too many bumps in the road along the way. But worst case, it'll be like what you're seeing right now. This will be the worst case scenario. Cooley misses Mountain Dew. I think Mountain Dew is sold down south like crazy. And I don't think they sell it up north anymore, but I think it's very popular down here.
Yeah, that stuff is bad for you just by the color of it.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that stuff just rots your teeth away. I mean, it's and of course, Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper's kind of a big thing down here too for some people, which that's definitely Dr. Pepper to me is definitely an acquired taste, as they say. You either love it or you hate it. There's no in between.
Yeah. Cheer wine or something is big in the South too.
Oh yeah, all the grocery stores down here are almost like a. It's actually hard to find a liquor store down here that sells hard liquor because every grocery store sells beer and wine. So every grocery store has a pretty good variety of wine, and people down here are big time wine drinkers and beer drinkers as well. But the hard stuff, like if you needed to get scotch or vodka or whatever, I mean, I'm not even sure. I think I know of one place relatively close to where I am where you could get hard liquor, but it's not like there's a package store. In Connecticut, it seemed like you had a package store, every 2 miles. And my wife's family were from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, coal country. And when we would visit her aunt up there, basically I could walk around the block and run into 3 bars, because I mean, obviously when coal was the big thing there, I mean, there wasn't nothing to do there. I mean, you worked and you drank. I mean, so there's like bars at the end of every street in Wilkes-Barre. Pretty interesting. Jeff and Leslie's comment, UK friends would say Happy Treason Day. Yeah, I prefer the Independence Day part of it, obviously. Hello, Mr. Stewart. You found me. I don't know how long you've been on, but I was just saying that this is the worst case scenario for Saturday night at 9:00. The better case will be that I try out Restream or some other format where I can invite guests on, and I try that out between now and Friday night, and get a temporary subscription or a free trial period or whatever, and I can sign up for that and do it that way. And we'll see what happens. I got a few days to see what works. And Jeff and Leslie, all I can say about Chuck, and had a very limited contact with the family, and I'll just leave it as that he, obviously it's a private family matter, but he took ill. He's recovering right now. Not feeling up to doing the live stream, obviously, and we will try to fill in on a Saturday night basis. I'm not going to try to do a Wednesday. I'll do a Saturday night thing. I have no problem doing that. And we'll do that until Chuck feels up to getting back in the saddle again and giving us some famous rants. Because I'm not a big ranter, so if you definitely don't want to listen to me if you're counting on a big rant. You'd have to trigger me on something, and I'm not going to tell you what triggers me, but you hit the right spot. You might trigger a rant out of me once in a while.
I got some ideas.
You got some ideas.
All right, I'm going to get going. I'm going to the Queen Mary tonight. I'm going to spend the night on the Queen Mary and shoot the fireworks from there. So hoping I get some good shots. I'm kind of doing it blind. I have no experience shooting off the deck of the Queen Mary or even with the Queen Mary itself. So hopefully it was a good decision. Worst case scenario, I come back with some shots of ghosts because it's supposed to be haunted. So we'll see.
Now, is that permanently located near you?
Yeah, it's dry docked in Long Beach, California, which is just north of Huntington Beach. So for me, it's about 45 minutes. It's not very far.
Okay. Well, have a good time, and if you get something good, then at some point, when we share photos again, hopefully you can give us some good shots.
I hope so too. And happy 4th to you, and happy 4th to everyone watching and listening. And best wishes for Chuck.
Yeah, absolutely. If somehow he has stumbled across this test pattern, then Chuck, say hello to you. Wish you the best, speedy recovery, and we want you back on the air ASAP. So everybody misses you, and hopefully on Saturday night you can join us in the chat, and you can see how much everybody cares about you.
Absolutely. All right, Jeff, I'm hanging up.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Thanks a lot.
All right. Yep. Happy 4th to everyone. Take care.
Yeah. Take care. Yeah. Tim was on the phone here with me because originally I just tried to, as a test pattern, I tried to do it privately, and I just sent it to notified him via email. And he would get the notification that I was live or what have you. But then it said, oh, it's private. You can't view it. And it's like, duh. Yeah, I know. I selected private. I put in the person that I want to be able to view the live stream. And then you don't let that person view the live stream. So I ended up saying, well, I'm going to have to go public with this, figuring I would do it for like 2 minutes. And it's 34 minutes so far. And then people started showing up, and it's like, wow, I wasn't expecting anybody to find me. I thought I was going to like sneak under the radar and nobody would know I'm on, but we will see how things go. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I figured I would call in to see how things are going here.
Well, I got Mr. Stewart on the line. I don't know if anybody can hear him as he's coming through my phone. Well, I did get things set up on YouTube. YouTube is very limited. And like I said, initially with my lack of equipment, I'm relegated to, my webcam on my computer, which is fine because that's what I used when I was on Chuck's show anyway, and my external mic, which is also fine. But I can't add people to the screen or invite people on via the YouTube format. It would be, what you're seeing right now on your computer. So I'm going to try to just go on Restream, and if they have a trial period or a, try us out type of thing for 30 days, I'll sign up for that. And then I'll do a test on that and make sure that works, and that I could put people on quote unquote on the screen. And I will no later than Friday. Hopefully, I will not do it. I will not wait till Saturday. I will put something out no later than Friday, probably during the day, where the stream is going to be coming from. But irregardless of the methodology, I mean, it will be the 9 o'clock time frame. But details to follow. I'll put something out on my channel, and hopefully word will get passed around to people, and they can join in on Saturday night.
Yeah, if you're looking at the chat, Neville is on. That's Chuck's wife. And she says that he hears and sees you guys. So, say hello, Chuck. Hopefully you're doing better. And we're looking forward to hearing your dulcet tones. Maybe not a rant right away, but you know what happens. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Nice to see that things are going with you, Jeff. And hello, Gustavo.
Yeah. Hello, Maribel. I'm appreciate you stopping by, and Chuck. I'm going to try not to ruin your reputation trying to do this on Saturday night. We will see. But my 5-minute test here has gone to 37 minutes. People are everybody misses you. Like I told your wife, I said you're loved by a lot of people, man. I don't know that you realize how much people care about you, and everybody misses you. Everybody wants you back. But the main thing is to just recover, get better. And when you come back, kick some serious behind, if you know what I mean. And we will try to have some engagement with the photo community that you established, coming this Saturday night, and we'll see how it goes. And hey, I mean, I can't look any sillier than I do when I go on your show as a guest. That's how I look at it. You either like me or you don't. I'm not going to get any better or any worse. What you see is what you get, unfortunately. But
I'll let you go, Jeff, and I'll just sit back and watch the chat, and we're looking forward to Saturday night.
Yeah,
things go well.
We will try to make it fun, and we'll keep in touch, David.
Okay then. Yeah. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye. So those you folks may not know that right now Chuck is viewing this stream. So if you want to do a shout out to him or wish him well, feel free to do so. That will be a big part of Saturday night show, is just to show some support for our friend and our comrade who managed to accumulate a bunch of ragtag photographers who, for the most part, love what they do, make no money doing it, but enjoy it and like sharing information and like having, interesting conversations about different things. And it's not like that everybody agrees on everything, but hey, what would the world be like if everybody thought the same way and everybody, everybody, said the same things? I mean, I think it's important to, when you have a community that can disagree in a polite manner, which is what Chuck's put together. I mean, 99.99% of the time, it's an extremely polite show. People are very respectful of each other, and I think that's something that other channels don't have. And like we've talked about before, Chuck's channel represents an opportunity for anyone to come on his show. I mean, look at me. I mean, Mike, I'm like the poster boy from anti-social media. I don't do any social media at all now. YouTube, some will say is social media. Well, okay, I'm guilty on the YouTube side now, but I don't do Instagram. I don't do Facebook. I don't do any of that other stuff. And my kids are like blown away. Were blown away when I appeared on Chuck's show, and he's been kind enough to allow me to participate on his show for quite a long time. I mean, I had a little reprieve there for a little while, but I mean, probably for a year. I think I've been on his show, twice a week, and he's been very generous with putting up with me. And I appreciate it, and I appreciate the fact that the show is open to everybody and gets adjusted during the some of the criticism that I guess others on the outside world, like he has said before, oh, the show's too long, or you don't have a topic or whatever. Yeah, you do have a topic, because it ends up being the topic that the people in the chat want to talk about. And to be able to just switch topics as quick as snapping your fingers and go from one subject matter to another, one genre of photography to another, and have enough knowledge between the people that are in the chat and the people that are up on the screen is phenomenal. I mean, people have been able to come on Chuck's channel, and I don't think anybody could say they've gone on the channel or listened to the channel and didn't get something out of it, didn't learn from the people on the chat or the people on the panel, or get involved in a discussion. I mean, I think it's the most unique live stream channel that there is on YouTube, period. So kudos to Chuck, and whatever we could do to support you, my friend, and get you back on. That's what we all want. And let's see. Oh, is there any folks out there that are planning to go out and try to take some pictures of the fireworks tonight in their hometown? Or is it raining where you are? I know it's raining in Connecticut right now too. So my kids' own fireworks attempts are getting drowned out tonight. And I know, talking with Chuck, during the course of the beginning of the summer in Connecticut, it's been very, very dry. They haven't had a lot of rain. So, of course, it has to show up on 4th of July. David says he shot his fireworks on the 1st. Yes, David, and Chuck even lets you on. That's true. See, we could either play this one way or the other, David. We could say Chuck doesn't have good taste because he lets us on his show, or we could say he has excellent taste. He only picks the best. So it's all on how we want to spin it, and only Chuck knows for sure why he puts us on his show. But now's the time. What we'll have to do Saturday, folks, is get everybody to go to his channel and make some coffee fund donations and build up his coffee fund account. Like I said, my biggest problem is I run on empty all the time, other than the occasional Coca-Cola, or I guess there's some caffeine in the diet green tea with citrus that I drink from Lipton. I'm sure has some caffeine in it, but I don't really get a lot of caffeine. So my wife has to have at least one cup in the morning, sometimes two. And I'm saying, what would you do if you were me and you weren't having anything? I don't know about you guys, but if I'm doing an early morning shoot and I'm going to be, let's say, on site somewhere, in that 6:15 a.m. to 7 o'clock a.m. time slot, I mean, I don't have breakfast or anything before I leave the house. I grab a bottle of water to bring with me, so I get some fluids in me, and I'm out of the house. And then what my friend and I do, my friend Bob, that you have seen on Chuck's channel on occasion from Bob Our Photos, we tag team up a lot, and we'll take pictures, and then when we're done, we'll go and have what I call like brunch. We'll have lunch and breakfast and lunch somewhere before we go home after we shoot, and that and dinner. I'll have 2 meals that day, which still isn't helping me lose enough weight. I'll tell you, even though I only have maybe 2 meals a day when I shoot pictures. Yeah, David says that caffeine's no longer his friend. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there's certain things that dietary wise that he's gonna maybe have to change. I don't know, but let's see. Cooley says he's going to Michigan for a week to shoot landscape. Any advice? Well, I mean, I've never been to Michigan, so I really couldn't tell you, where is a good place to shoot in Michigan. I mean, in terms of equipment, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a zoom, whether you have and as silly as this sounds, do not rule out bringing, if you have a 70-200, don't rule out bringing a 70-200, because lots of times you want to isolate, you want to bring in something closer. You want to compress that image and bring something far away in closer for a tighter shot for a certain part of a landscape. And a 70-200 lens, if you have it, is a great thing to have in your bag for landscape photos, although a lot of people wouldn't think of that. If obviously a 24-70 or a 24-120 would cover you most of the time. And some would say, well, they're not fast lenses, they're an f4 lens per se, what have you. Well, if you're doing serious landscape photography and you're bringing a tripod with you and you're setting that up, f4 doesn't matter. You just take, use a slower shutter speed, and you're going to be in a tripod anyway, so it doesn't matter. Really doesn't. If you're going to handhold everything, then yeah, maybe you need to bring a fast prime with you, you know, a 28 or 24 2.8, something like that. If you have one, if I was going to do landscape photography, which I used to do a lot of at a certain part of my lifetime, if I had it, I'd bring a fast prime, no less than 28 millimeters, 24 if I have it. I would bring the 24 to 70 if I had that, and I'd bring the 70 to 200, and those would be the only lenses you need. Now, if you're going to be in the woods, or you're going to be, and you don't know about the what the lighting's going to be, obviously you don't know what the weather might be. You also throw in a macro lens if you have it, because if you, depending on the whether it's partly cloudy, you know, you don't have enough light or whatever. You know, set up and take some. You might have to change your focus. No pun intended. You might have to say, well, it's not looking really great right now for the landscape shots. Lighting isn't quite what I want. You could probably find an area where you might have some flowers or something that have enough light on them that would look good, and, you know, bring a macro lens with you. That's something that you could switch over to if the landscape isn't good at that moment in time that you want to do it. You know, like David's saying, 14 to 30, 24 to 120, 100 to 400. I mean, obviously, if you got, you know, basically the 2.8 version of the trio, you bring that with you, the 14 to 24, the 24 to 70, 70 to 200. Yeah, I'm trying to think if anybody knows of anybody that has a YouTube channel that lives out in Michigan. You know, I can't think of anybody, but if somebody else does, you know, share that with Cooley, and then he can go to that person's channel and see where they're going and see what they're shooting. I just can't think of anybody that's in Michigan. Yeah, I'm civilized. Photo shoot and brunch. Yeah. Hello, Tim. How you doing? David's saying, what about Kevin? Is Kevin out that way? Yeah, Gustavo makes a very good point. I mean, and you don't have to bring like the super heavy tripods. I mean, some of these travel tripods that are out there nowadays, they're not any bigger than packing an umbrella with you, and they're adequate. I mean, I told you guys I've shot the Hypey, and I'm not going to compare it to my big Manfrotto, you know, which I've had for 20 something years. It's built like a tank, and the legs are, you know, like this, you know. But I'll tell you, I put my 800 PF on my Z9 on that Hypey tripod, and it has like a 55-ish pound load weight capacity, somewhere in that range. I didn't have any problem. Taking pictures. And hi, Bob from Bob R Photos. He was with me when I was using it at the park. I had that 800 millimeter lens on that Hypey tripod, and I bring it with me and I throw it. And Bob has a wagon that he pulls behind him, and because he brings his movie cameras with him and other stuff, so he has a nice little pull cart. And but yeah, don't be afraid. Bring a tripod with you, and like Gustavo says, if you just put the camera on the tripod first, you don't want to be looking around, being in that fixed spot with your tripod. Have the tripod with you, walk around, check out the area first, pick your spots with you hand holding the camera. Predetermine where you're going to want to set up. I mean, you might say, okay, I'm going to take a shot over in that corner over there first, then I want to walk over there, then I want to go over there. So identify, like make out a plan for yourself, and then set up your tripod and hand hold first, and hold it vertical, do a horizontal, try different lenses and say, yeah, I'm in the spot now that I want, and then put it on the tripod. If you're always lugging the camera with the tripod, plus the camera manufacturers, most of them say, do not put the camera on the tripod and carry, and everybody does it, but they'll tell you in their manual, do not put it on the tripod and have the thing hanging over your shoulder with the camera just hanging there, attached to the thread of the tripod or the clamp mechanism on the tripod head or whatever. They'll just say, don't do it. Probably good advice. So hello, Bob. Hope you're doing well. I'm sure you're saying, why in the heck am I on? I'm asking myself that same question, but I'm going to attempt to do a live stream on Saturday night in lieu of Chuck not being able to do his, and going to be determining whether I'm going to use the YouTube format or try to get a free trial period on Restream or one of the other services. And I'm going to be looking into that in the next couple days, and then I will send a notice out to everybody, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, tripod. I mean, a lot of people try to avoid it, and I admit it. And I probably 90% of the time I'm not using one. And if I can get away with a monopod shooting video, I can get away with a monopod shooting video with the 500 PF, and most of the time it's going to be steady enough, for my level of content. I'm not Cecil B. DeMille, by any means. I put the 800 on. I got some good results with the 800. I'm shooting 4K 120, so I could really slow it down if I have to. That helps get rid of some of the jitters. But I mean, one day I was shooting a video with it on the tripod, and it was really, really windy, because when we're on that causeway that I talk about all the time, you got the wind coming in from the ocean, going through the marsh, and it's hitting our backs. So, you're putting a little downward, you're putting your hand under the tripod head or whatever, pushing down on the tripod a little bit, especially on a travel tripod, to try to make it as steady as you can when you got the wind blowing on you. But, and they came out decent. Now, if I tried to hand hold the 800 with a 20 mile an hour wind hitting me in the back, or wind gusts that are even more than that, forget it. The video isn't going to be worth, what, and you're just going to delete it. It's not worth doing it. I mean, that would be another interesting subject on a show at some point in time, would be to talk about what types of tripods do people own, what type of tripod heads do they have? Do they use ball heads? Do they use fluid heads, which tend to be more for video work? What type of heads do they use? Do they use gimbals? I don't have a shirt. Wait a minute. I'm not taking this off, guys. I'm sorry. It ain't happening. This is a family stream. I should be wearing my self-promotional, which does me absolutely no good. I should have my self-promotional Selective Imagery shirt on, my blue shirt with my logo. Maybe I'll wear that on Saturday. David's got 5 tripods. Well, you got me beat. I only have 3. And I think I'm done. And yeah, another topic that would be funny is camera bags, because camera bags for photographers are like pocketbooks for women. Women love pocketbooks, and photographers love camera bags. And you would think you should be able to find one that's going to be good for you 99% of the time. But whenever you see a sale on something and it's a good camera bag and it's different than what you have, oh man, it's hard not to pull the trigger. I mean, I don't have a lot of camera bags. I have a travel bag on wheels to put on the airplane that I just bought recently. And then I think I have 3 backpacks and like a messenger type bag, and then a few small ones that would basically just hold a camera with a short lens on it, and that's about it. But I try to be restrained on that. But I know some people have as we say, gas gear acquisition syndrome doesn't apply just to lenses and camera bodies. I mean, it gets into lighting equipment and flashes and bags and tripods and you name it. We all have a fetish, and certain photography pieces of photo equipment make us want to spend money quicker than others. Tim says he has the carbon fiber Suri travel tripod. Yeah, that's you'll have no issues with that. And I think all the tripods I have are carbon fiber, and I would recommend carbon fiber just because of the weight difference. But when I was younger, and I'm talking much younger, like 10 years ago when I was in my 20s. Haha. Just seeing if you're awake. I had when I was real young. I mean, when you went to a lot of your camera gear you bought, if you're lucky if you had a camera shop near you, and if you didn't, you were buying some of your camera equipment at department stores. So a lot of the tripods, you'd have like I think I can remember a Slick U212 tripod. That was one of my first tripods, and that was aluminum. Wasn't very heavy, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it's just funny, really, what it's funny how much things have changed, especially you get up in age and you're in your 60s, and you look back at what you bought when you were a young teenager. If you were into photography early, which I was, because my mom was the photographer, videographer in the family, for the whole family. I mean, no one else in the family even, I think, owned a camera. I mean, my mom took the pictures of her brothers and sisters' children growing up and everything, and gave them prints. And I don't know that they even owned a camera, but my mom had all sorts of stuff. And so obviously I had an interest in cameras from day one. I mean, I was just surrounded by what was a Brownie movie projector with a giant, light bar with three lights on there that were bright as the sunshine, and you make sure your skin didn't touch them or it would peel right off. So we all had that. A lot of us had that stuff growing up. But a lot of the equipment we had to buy was at, like department stores. to buy cameras, because you didn't have camera stores. You had your camera store was your, in my case, it was like Caldor's department store. That was what was in Connecticut at the time. And not only did they have, they had the Pentax K1000, they had a few Nikons, which were, priced where most people couldn't afford to buy them. And so you had the Pentax, you had the Minolta, you had the Konicas, you had things like that, the Fujikas, but they also sold darkroom equipment. You could buy enlargers, you could buy the trays, you could buy the timers. They sold full darkroom kits at the department stores, which was kind of neat. Now we almost are all delegated to having to buy our stuff from someone out of state that may have a smaller camera store than, say, a B&H or Adorama, but we're still buying from someone that's probably not in our hometown, and we're buying a lot of stuff online. And what else we got? Going back here, because in the beginning I wasn't really looking at the chat as much. Oh, drunk wedding photographer. Southern California gets crazy with fireworks. Each year something always catches on fire. Yeah, unfortunately, I've seen fires get started from people flicking their cigarette butts out of their car window. That's a pet peeve. There's a button pusher for me, is people that have to flick their cigarette butts out of their cars or trucks. Talk about lazy. Start a lot of fires that way, man. Hey guys, I'm going to shut this down because this was supposed to be a 5-minute test, which has turned into a 1 hour plus discussion. And I appreciate everybody that popped in, and hopefully everybody made a comment to say hi to Chuck, and we will, we're gonna see what happens on Saturday, but something will happen on Saturday, and I will make sure that we have a stream on Saturday, and I will send everybody some info no later than Friday night as to whether it's going to be a restream event or through YouTube, but we will inform you. So have a good one, guys. Enjoy the rest of the 4th of July. Bob, I'll see you tomorrow. And Bob and I are going to see Jaws because we want to see it again on the big screen. So our spouses won't see it because they don't go in the ocean anymore. My wife hasn't gone in the ocean since I took her to see Jaws, and we know how many years ago that was. But anyway, have a great time, guys. I'm going to call it a day here, and appreciate you stopping by. Take it easy.